Hello and welcome back to the Hat Chat podcast, episode 120 if you care about numbers.
Wow.
120.
That's impressive.
And what better way to celebrate such a round number than Pyrion Flax as our guest.
Very good.
Nice.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
My pleasure as ever, Chad.
So we recently had Pyrion Flax with us on our music stream.
One of my favorite things
Indeed,
that I've ever done. Had so much fun.
And we had a great time as well.
Yeah.
With
Good,
your infusion of energy.
High energy.
We created a
vigor.
full song.
We
One.
did.
Rarely, normally it's like a minute and a half. Like next song, we
Yeah.
move on. But we actually
Wow.
made a full,
Well,
choruses.
I mean, if you let me on, you can't be like, Perry, we only wanted to do this for 10 minutes. Can you fuck
No.
off, please? Like, we couldn't do that. So obviously we had to commit. But I thought it was quite a banger as
It
well.
was. Yeah, it came out well.
There was trepidation in me
Ah.
when you busted in. I was like, he's post-pub.
Yeah. Is it? What's this
I'd only
gonna be
had a
like?
couple at that point. I'd only had a couple.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But yeah, instantly, it was great. And you already had the idea. We already knew the idea.
Yeah, a rough.
Yeah.
And I was ready to put that,
The mums
that
in space idea,
bad boy down.
but it grew.
Just
grew into the
couldn't
epic.
get that stupid melody out of my head when I was trying to go to sleep, and I was like, "Fuck it! There's only one way to exorcise these demons. Give it to the Hat Boys. Make
Other
it
people
real."
are the same. Look, I've had that song in my head ever since.
I know.
Okay.
It's a real
It's
earworm.
a tune. It's a tune of some kind.
So yeah, if you don't know, we did that for Jingle Jam, which is a charity drive at the end of the year that Yogscast put together. Our staple that we do every year is a music stream where we just literally make music on stream
Yeah.
as quickly as possible and as stupidly as possible and make it reality. And Pyrion wanted to do a song and had an idea
Yeah.
in a shower. Was it?
Yeah, it was in a shower, and
shower
then it was
thought.
stuck in my head, and then I woke up the next day and I thought, "Oh my god, I think I've forgotten it." I was like, "Phew!" And then I was like, "Actually, maybe I should try and remember it." I was running because the Mums in Space had such a really stuck in my head that I could find the melody again. I thought I'll tell Smith about this, and maybe he'll take pity on me and be like, "All right."
And after I
Old
stopped
man.
vomiting,
Yeah.
I said, okay, yeah, all right.
He's like, "Yeah, let's do it. We'll make it."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Okay, great." Because I always thought you guys had it on lock. Like the whole stream was planned out, and then I thought, actually, that doesn't sound like the lads. I reckon that they just went.
they have been a bit more planned to a level, so that we're not just completely,
Starting from clean
thumbing
slate.
it.
Yeah, because that's tough.
But to be honest, like the two songs we made were made from scratch. So ironically, the stuff we prepared, we didn't need that time, so it was fine.
Yeah,
And
Ross
there were
likes to
two
make backing tracks,
just
basically.
ideas.
Just like he
something to
throws some
work with.
stuff down, and then
Yeah.
we're like, okay, I want to do this on top of it.
Right.
And then we create everything else.
That's
That
good.
draw the rest of the owl. Kind
Yeah.
of
But
thing.
what's good is we didn't need that, so we had some organic, fresh tunes, which is good.
Mums in Space, what a hit.
Two
And just room for
high
shredding.
quality tracks, rather
Room for
than just
shreds.
Gotta
Yeah.
have some room.
rushing them through. But
My
yeah,
fingers are so callous
even
now.
voice shredding.
Voice shredding as well.
Yeah, so good. But yeah, check it out if you haven't already. There is a cut down already that Craig did because he was
I
watching the
know.
whole thing live
Oh, really?
and mixing, like
Live
editing
editing.
it down
Oh, I haven't heard that yet.
whilst we were.
Yeah, you cut that whole stream down to 40 minutes.
yeah.
Wow.
Which is good.
Where is
impressive.
that?
It's on our main channel.
Okay,
yeah.
I will
Filmed
check
it.
that
Yeah, I
out.
was going to send it to you actually because I watched it the other day,
Yeah.
and the whole second half is like you.
Yeah.
It's all
So
you.
you can see the process happening.
No, it's us, lads.
Yes, of
it's
course.
us.
It's a real effort.
You had the seed though. You gave us your seed.
I seeded all over your stream.
Indeed.
That's not only.
And then we just then we
Left nut
celebrated.
seed.
So you're used to the podcast format because obviously
Yeah.
you're part of the infamous
Infamous.
Infamous.
Triforce
Illegal,
podcast.
banished Triforce podcast. Yeah.
So what do you do on that one?
We do zero preparation.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
But what I tend to do is I don't think Sips does this as much because he's just Sips. You just sort of wheel him in and he Sipses it up. Whereas me and Lewis will sometimes do something. So if something happens to me during the week, or I read something, or I watch something, I'll make a little note on it, just a notepad.
Nice, yeah.
Just triforce.txt, and I'll write in there things I wanted to talk about, rants I wanted to go on, or
I need to get this off
Jokes
my
I'd have.
chest.
Yeah, it's good to have.
so I'll just do that.
Notes, yeah.
And then if we do mailbag episodes where people write in, the hardest work I do is going through the mailbag and finding the good emails.
Oh my god,
In the
yeah.
junk, because some
Yeah.
people are just like, hey, and you'll read it and it's just like, just want to say love the podcast. You're like,
Oh,
that's
right,
wonderful,
yeah.
but I'm in a hurry here. I need
I
to
don't
concentrate."
care.
Yeah.
So yeah, and some of them are just like pages and
Oh, my
pages,
God.
just like an essay, And you read it, and it's just gibberish. It's just all over the place. Like, I can't use this either.
We had a similar experience,
Yeah.
but we went even more multimedia with it in that we did something called Hack Daddies for a while,
Yeah.
which we thought was
Agony aunt.
fun. It's basically an agony aunt format.
That's what 0 degrees is.
It's
now.
what 0 degrees.
Yeah,
then
essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So they now have those issues.
Yeah. Basically, we'd have people writing in, and if you're listening to this, presume I'm not talking about you.
You're
I
not-
might
you're
be
not, yeah.
talking about you. People think they're much funnier than they are, and that is impressive. Like, I wish I had that confidence. I feel like I'm a fairly confident person. I can make people sometimes laugh. I'm not going to say I'm not Sips or like a professional comedian,
Right.
but some people would write in, and you'd just be like, "You really went for this, and this really is
You
not
missed.
funny."
You
Yeah. But you're like,
That wasn't the worst of it. The worst of it was kind of like the real,
the real problems they
like
had.
genuine real problems. That was just like, this isn't funny in the slightest.
Yeah.
Talking about this is just going to be depressing for everyone. Like, I know that like people do have real problems, but like.
This is not-
They're calling up the wrong people for an answer.
This is
We're
not
after
the avenue.
jokey things. Once I got my dick
we
stuck in a
did.
toaster. Yeah, bring us those
shit, but
stories.
it's fine now.
Yeah.
And then I had to live my life without my
Yeah,
dick
yeah,
sealed
yeah.
shut.
With a toaster dick.
Yeah. My dick burnt shut, and they had to poke a hole. Have you? Right. So speaking about this,
What? Is this a thing?
remember that thing we read about the guy that put expanding foam down his dick, and like.
To what end?
So this was a news story. This was not someone sent into us.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It was a sex thing. There was sounding.
What,
If you know
down his
sounding is.
urethra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
down
Do
your
you know what
urethra.
sounding is?
Sounding?
Yeah.
In what context?
Like putting it down, something
It's called
down.
sounding?
Plunging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Piss
plunging
hole.
down the piss hole.
For sexual gratification.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, sounding. But somebody used expanding foam
Oh, God.
down their dick.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jesus, that sounds horrific. But you're like, maybe it went okay. Nah, it
No, it
completely wrote off their pee pipe, and they had to have a new hole put in their gooch, so that when they went for a piss,
They have to sit down.
They had to sit down and piss through this hole in their gooch, all for that sexual high.
Expanding. I imagine there
Surely
was
the
a
dick
point
doesn't
where it
work
was
now
like,
either.
This is the best
pretty
thing
good.
ever.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, how much does this expand?
Oh no!
Bang!
That was a moment of
For
joy.
a good 20 minutes, he's like, nice.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Okay, phase 2.
What do I do?
It's still going.
But yeah, just in case you were thinking about trying it.
I was
Yeah,
not.
it's
It
probably-
comes with a hefty toll.
Yeah. Well, if you've seen that stuff, it's just horrible. Like, it looks kind of like
It's-
like
yeah.
crunchy, doesn't it? Like crunchy material. Oh, it almost is edible.
Yeah, like the chocolate
Yeah,
bar
the chocolate bar
crunchy is what you
crunchy,
mean.
yeah.
So, I mean, Sips
like-
recently had to have a camera put down the end of his Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, did he really? Wow.
Yeah, he told us all about it on.
Okay, so
Tried
it's
for
not
us.
just a private.
No, not just a private thing.
Not anymore.
It's too late now.
But he told us about that, and he's like, it was horrible. It absolutely
Yeah.
sucked. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, yes, anything going down there is going to
Yeah.
hurt.
Is there any
Yeah.
numbing agent they put on or anything
Yeah,
like
but
that?
he was like, they don't wait for it to kick in. He's like, right, there's a numbing agent. Get down there with the camera,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Oh, wait, please wait.
Well, I was saying to the guys, I've been in this story before. When I've had several STI tests as
Okay.
a responsible individual. Luckily, none of them
Stop
never come
sleeping
back
around.
positive.
Or from
That's
being
even more
irresponsible.
But yeah, I try to be a irresponsible person. And back in uni, I had one, and I was really nervous because my mate had one in college,
Right.
and he was like, "Man, they went down. They scraped
down.
They scraped the inside of the pee hole and all this sort of stuff." And I was just like, "That sounds horrific." And then I was like there waiting to get seen, and the guy comes over, and he's like, I'm like, "Are you going to have to put something down there?" And he's like, "Oh, no, we stopped doing that actually, like last year." And,
Wow.
and so all they did was like a cotton bud swab of the top.
Right.
And I was like, "This is amazing."
Right.
And so a few years later, I'm in Bristol now, and I go for another one, and I'm there like, "Yeah, I've done this before, no problem. Yeah, I'll just check them all right, go for a gum clinic." And I went in, sit down, the guy's there, grabs a
Expanding
penis.
foam gun. He
He's
comes
there
in.
with the expanding foam gun. And what? I've
heard about
this.
this.
Doesn't seem like the right guy for this job.
He was the guy in the story.
But no, this guy ambushes me and just sends it right down there.
Oh,
Straight down there, and I'm like, whoa! And it hits the bottom, and you feel it hit the bottom. And then as you pull it out as well, it just scrapes all the way out. And so peeing hurts for like 3 days
Yeah.
afterwards.
I thought you were going to say the whole penis just turns inside out.
Yeah, it comes out. And then he has to blow it back in. Like pushing the outside of a straw
But if he
off.
did that now, you'd need an STI test for that.
Yeah, not another one, mate. Come on, are you sure you're a doctor? He says, getting his Makita 18-volt drill out. Like, no, he's definitely a tradesman.
I'll rinse under the tap. Fine.
But yeah, no, it does suck getting stuff put down your pee
Yeah,
hole.
God, yeah. I
Yeah.
can imagine.
I've yet to experience such delight, so fingers crossed I don't need to.
Oh, God.
A life of celibacy for me from here on.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Well, the main, the bulk of this podcast
Let's hit it.
is hypothetical situations.
Hypothetical, my favorite. I do this a lot. I think about hypothetical situations a lot. What if I was attacked by ninjas right now?
Oh,
Like if I'm someone like this,
Is it
I
mainly an
always
attack hypothetical?
Just
always punching the vents.
no, I check the rooftops to see if they come up and what the
they do.
crawl
Oh, they
space
all
is
come
like
up.
on the other side.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if it came to it and you heard terrorists bust in, what's my escape route? I do think about that shit.
What's your escape route right now?
Throw you guys that way, and I run that way.
Okay.
And the clatter of you lot attracts the terrorists, and I can make it.
Well, it's good.
Okay.
I can tell you there's a window behind this plasterboard, so if you wanted to really get out,
You could
We'll break
smash
that through.
Punch your way through that wall.
yeah.
Could
punch
you?
your way
I
through,
reckon, I
think
reckon if you went
one
up
of
in the
those-
roof, you could get past that.
Yeah, but you said that none of this is traversable because
It's all
not ducked in.
It's like this bar.
Yeah.
There's like like this bar strength. So
That's
I mean,
it.
you could probably bounce from one to the other if you somehow.
You're falling through the. You must have been warned as you were growing up, like don't stand on the insulation in the loft.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that? They're like, don't stand on it, you'll go straight through it.
Yeah.
Right. Same deal, I think.
Okay.
Isn't it
Yeah.
also the fiberglass that would tear you up? That's why
it
you
just-
shouldn't
it would
stand
suck.
on
It
I
would
think
just
falling-
be
yeah.
It's just also the cost of repairing.
I mean, it's probably, you know what, I bet you wouldn't fall straight through, but
No.
your dad knew that
Yeah.
your foot would come through the ceiling and
Yeah.
he'd have to get a
Yeah.
plaster around. So he's going to warn you, you fall through there, you go through
The
actually
hole.
into
You're
another
gonna-
dimension.
The house is coming down.
What he's thinking
out.
is, I don't want to
That's where the
replay
demons are. It's like demons.
You know, you can
Right,
actually
okay.
get up onto the roof of this building if you go up through the roof of
Yeah.
the meeting room.
Really?
You can
Yeah, you
climb
can
up to where
clamber
the
through.
AC units are, and there's like a little gantry up there. You
Okay.
get right up there.
So there.
So if you want to get out
that's
that
the
way,
escape
your
route.
way.
That's the
That's
escape.
our escape
That's the
route.
roof
Good to-
escape. Yeah.
Good to know.
Maybe
Or you
bring
can
a
smash
parachute.
windows.
yeah.
But like,
Or
it
charge
depends on how bad
Charge
the
them.
situation is.
Yeah.
Like, really, you need to weigh it up. If you can creep out, go.
What weapons have they got? Have they got AKs?
Yeah.
Because those bullets are going through every single unit in this room.
Yeah.
You know, like, they would just need
Yeah.
to stop on the
Is
outside
this
of it.
actual
This is
brick?
not.
not real
that
brick.
is
It's
not.
not.
It's
Fake.
like
It's fake.
fiberglass or something. I don't know.
So you're going to want to charge them.
So
basically, that's your best bet.
I actually think just legging it would be the best bet. Because
Where are you going to go? They're just there
away
spraying.
from them.
They're
Yeah,
there
but they've come
spraying.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing is stopping a 7.62 bullet from here to those windows.
Right, but I still
It's
don't
all
think
shit.
they're just going to
Dolphin dive out the window?
go and spray through the walls.
Yeah.
They're going to want
Lay
to see
down.
people. They're going to run into
They
the
don't want
office.
that. Where's
Oh,
Ted?
like,
So what's their motive, do you
Where would you
reckon?
hide
It's just
him?
like
kill me.
kill
For
you.
whatever
You.
reason,
They
I've said
want
the
you
wrong
dead.
thing.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
do often think that now, as the world's getting more and more authoritarian and fascist, and I have quite strong opinions that I like to frequently
You
voice.
think they're going to come for you?
Maybe like a government-sponsored Merc or something will come in and just be like, "You've talked enough, mate."
Yeah.
And,
You said too much.
I can't get too well known because then I'll get on people's radars.
Nice,
Joe
yeah.
Lycett must be fucking, not sleeping. That guy. John Lewis, like Hugo Boss are going to come for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They've got connections.
Yeah.
that's true. Right, give us a question and let's
So
hypothesize.
our
so-
wonderful patrons have chosen the
Yes.
hypotheticals.
Okay.
I put up some options and they vote on the best one. So this
Okay.
is the best one. Audience. Democratic.
I'll read this to you. Number 1. You find the ultimate wiki. The ultimate wiki is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a complete repository of all there is to know. It is, when you find it, pristine, untouched by the human hands. Before you share this amazing resource, you can make one edit, adding a single piece of misinformation to this otherwise infallible source. What do you change? So this is just all knowledge.
All knowledge
is
in a
this
wiki.
And you can be like,
before
actually,
you release it, if you want to, because that's quite dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like all knowledge to everyone.
It would be. I mean,
is it dangerous?
But you could
It's
also just
dangerous
put in a
and
little
it's
So
troll.
it's all knowledge that there will ever be as well, I presume. So, like, for example,
it's the totality of knowledge of everything.
yeah, beyond
Obviously
regular
not of people.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, not of like current, like future history will
Yeah.
not be included. But
Oh, okay, right.
how I would assume it would be everything that's happened, actual facts about every single event that's
Yeah.
happened throughout the universe.
Yeah.
So every culture, every race, how their rise and fall, all of it. And all the laws of physics, chemistry, biology, everything, the totality of mathematics,
Yep.
all languages, all of it, all there solved.
What would you
What do you
change?
change?
Would it be like something like you tell everyone that the octopus species was actually alien, and they were actually put here by another
Sure, there is.
species,
Would there
like-
be information about any real aliens? Maybe.
Well, you'd hope so.
But
then we don't know
Universe wide,
that
I
information.
presume. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much would you have to
So do we withhold
propagate?
that to become like maybe like
Yeah, well, because
the seer.
because in the Ultimate Wiki, there'll probably also be like alternative ways of harnessing energy, right? Like things like dark matter energy drives and shit like that.
Black hole. Yeah.
So you'd have this incredible resource, because otherwise, all we're talking about here is actual Wikipedia, right? Because Wikipedia currently probably does have close enough to most of our.
I guess the next stage is then convince people that they are facts, and then people just going, well, I don't believe that.
What are you going to edit? What would you change?
Fuck.
The difficulty is, you say you switch the octopus thing out. Is there so much information about octopuses in this wiki? You're going to be doing a lot of edits.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of information that's correcting that.
I can imagine there's like a hierarchy system.
I mean, I
change one.
I personally wouldn't change anything. I think that would be probably the worst single action that you could take.
Yeah.
Would be to change it, because if it then came out that was wrong,
Edited by Flax.
this font of truth suddenly has been corrupted, and now you can't trust any of it.
But I guess you could accept
Solid
it.
point.
This is a lot like
how do you even believe it,
the
though?
Mormon
How do you know?
church, isn't it? Really, you're the guy that finds the golden plates.
When he hides a bag over his head.
Yeah.
I've got to read it in a bag.
Nobody else can see these.
That is the most bonkers story.
Oh my god.
There's some merit to not revealing this information to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you have the tome of all knowledge, and you could distribute these nuggets of information as a wise sage and be like, here's how you fix the energy crisis.
Right.
Here's how you do this. And
Was
then,
Jesus a time traveling alien?
yeah, I'd say the world
be
is
that.
flat. I'd swap out saying the world is actually flat, because then it's like, oh my god, this is like the ultimate wiki.
You could
With all this perfect
debunk
knowledge.
religion.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You could be like, oh no, Jesus was just a carpenter.
He was a
Yeah.
carpenter.
He played a prank on his mates once. Where
He did the whole thumb
There
He
trick.
would swap
was a
around.
plank under the water, and he walked on it, and then they believed him. And then most people just believed it.
The
then a bunch of-
ultimate
bunch of-
charlatan.
And then a bunch of people just started following him,
Yeah.
and it was just like basically PewDiePie of that age.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and then a lot of people were like, well, that's fucking crazy. Let's crucify this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And they did.
They did.
And then we were all just like, shit, Merry Christmas.
Is that what you'd change, or is that what you'd find out?
I would change it. I would. Well, I don't know, because there's always going to be something, isn't there? I'm trying to think of what would be worse. Because
I think if the wiki said that actually God is real, and you were like, oh, I don't want that.
Oh, delete
That would be horrific.
I think the ninjas are in the ceiling.
Ninjas aren't.
Have you saw your escape plan?
That's really true. Yeah. Like, as in, that would be an interesting truth.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
if
Like,
there was an entry, like you look up God, it's like God is an entity who dwells in another dimension. You're like, God is real?
Yeah. It's not quite what you guys imagine, but there is some
There is a
form
God.
of
Exactly.
Yeah,
extraplanar.
what if, like, the meaning of life or whatever, like that our destiny and all that is really dystopic and bad? Like, we are an experiment of some kind, or
Yeah.
a simulation for like plaything.
it gives you significance, though, doesn't it? I think
Would you delete
ultimately,
that
like,
as like
you're
a-
insignificant.
Oh,
We
yeah.
are insignificant.
But if you discovered
that's
if you read,
the
or
truth.
you could discover the ultimate truth that you were insignificant, would you embrace it, or would you kind of just not look when you cross the road now and just be like, oh fuck it, I don't give a shit about anything?
I think we are.
Or would you just be like,
hugely
fuck, I you know, I'm in a play world of my own
God, Perry,
creation.
give us break us out of this echo chamber.
I think we are hugely significant, because we've seen no evidence to date that there is anything even remotely like us in the universe. Right? There is, I'm sure. We haven't seen the evidence yet.
I was actually going to ask you that before this, just as we started this question. It's like, do you think that there is complicated life in the universe elsewhere?
Probably,
Yeah.
I would say, because it's so big.
Yeah.
But
Do you want to put your Brian
You've
Cox
seen those
voice
Brian
on for
Cox.
this?
I was going to say, you've seen the Brian Cox documentary.
Yeah, Brian Cox.
The vastness of space in itself.
The space right, is so big, and it's dead cold out there. Where there's so many planets and so many stars, it seems a bit unlikely that we're all alone. It's not Wigan. There might be human beings living there.
I think there's an arrogance to assume that we're on our own, I think.
Yeah.
In terms
is,
of just
yeah.
because, like, you know, it's complex matter. I'm sure there is, but in different forms, sure.
I think
To
it's
be
very
exactly
likely
the same.
It seems as though there is an abundance of like microbial or bacterial life in space. You know,
There probably
we're
is,
finding
yeah.
it on Mars. We're finding it on the Moon. Like there looks to be a lot more exoplanets in the appropriate places within their solar systems. But the big question is complex life.
So
you know,
how complex
more
is
complicated
complex?
than us?
Oh,
Like,
more than us.
yeah, because that's the thing. It's like that there could be plenty of life in the universe, but we could be the ones that got there first in terms
Right.
of how complicated we are, how organized we are.
Yeah.
And that would suggest why seemingly we're on our own, as in no one's come to visit us.
Right.
Because we're the ones.
Yeah, we could just be first. I mean, so
But arguably, our universe, our solar system is not as old as other solar systems
it's
as
not.
well. So, like, it's almost like it'd be weird that we're first because we weren't the first created solar system or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah.
But I think if you look at the amount of time that life has existed on Earth, there was a lot of time on Earth where there was just nothing. Billions of years of just like a ball settling down into what we have now. It takes a long time.
2020.
Sorry, 2000.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. I'm a big creation.
Yeah, of course.
We like a lot of opinions.
But if you think about it, for the entirety of the lifetime of our planet, which is what 4.5 billion years or something like that, we've been here for like the final tick of the final second of the 24 hours in the age of the Earth, right? So we barely existed. And for the entire time that we've existed, maybe for the last 70 or 80 years, we've been sending signals out into space. So we've had this existence on this planet for all this time, and now suddenly a ping has gone out, which is our radio signals. But there will become a point where we stop bothering with these bouncing radio signals off the atmosphere and go to something better. And so the bubble stops. So you've got like a shockwave of our signals. It disseminates throughout the universe, and if you're not around to catch it, you'll never catch it.
Yeah.
So us listening for aliens is like, I mean, you may as well just hope to catch a fish by putting a tiny hook, a tiny bit of it in the ocean, and just waiting with no bait.
It's like a quantum-sized needle in a universe-sized haystack.
It's like the pale blue dot image, right? Just the distance between everything else.
I want champagne, though. Give me champagne.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of us looking for evidence of other life, the best we've got is to look for evidence of things like things passing in front of an exoplanet or the sun that are clearly this must be constructed. I mean, what was it called? The Ouroboros or whatever, the rock that came through a few years ago. It was shaped like a torpedo.
Yeah.
And no one had ever seen
gone
anything
now,
like
isn't it?
that.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's long gone. The angle it came from and the speed it was traveling and all the rest of you, like, what the hell
Like a
is this
bullet.
thing?
Yeah.
That could be something.
Yeah.
But who knows what? Maybe that's the way they fought their space battles, was they fucking hoid meteors at each other.
And there's one of them just coming through from somewhere
Some distant
yeah.
ancient space battle. It's possible.
It's
but
very amazing.
I kind of just think there's very little out there that's like us. It must be. Think of how incredibly lucky we are to have the Earth where it is, when it is, with the sun that we've got. We haven't been struck by a ton of fucking massive rocks that have destroyed everything. It's happened a couple of times and we made it. We have water, we have oxygen, we've got everything just right in this perfect balance. How rare must that be?
It's all
so
planned.
lucky.
It feels rare.
Even things like
That's
having
just 'cause we can't
the
find out.
They
core,
did
right?
just the magnetosphere. Yeah. The
bounces all the cosmic rays
Yeah.
away and everything. It's mad.
They did just do a test where they used satellites to move a small rock, right? Do you think that's because they haven't told us about the bigger rock?
Yeah, right. It's best to keep that quiet. Do you think they should tell you if that going to happen? Because I feel like that's just going to break down.
If
we haven't mentioned that before. I think we would just break down economy. People would stop working. They'd be like, "Fucking."
It'd be the purge.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd look up if you could look up and see it. I watched that Don't Look Up movie, which was obviously a very, very stylized version of what might happen, but. You would have people saying, "I don't believe it." You would have that. You would have people saying, "Yes, this is the end of times." Everybody, lay down your tools and everything. Stop working. It's over. It would be madness to tell people, but also if you didn't,
would you prepare for? How would you prepare?
you're gonna have to
for that?
tell all the other governments of the world. Otherwise, they'll never trust you again. It's like you knew there was a giant rock coming and you didn't enlist our help.
But isn't the point of that film the fact that it's going to destroy so much that even talking about it is just going to cause?
But they could have
havoc
done something
beforehand.
about it. Do you remember? That's
Oh
the
yes,
whole point.
yeah.
Is the guy
they weren't listening to him, weren't they?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I've got the tools to do it," but then they were like, "Actually, we're going to break it up and land it in the ocean because it's worth a bunch of money."
Oh yeah, that was it.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that there probably isn't a giant rock out there because it's too easy for an amateur astronomer to locate.
Yeah.
And that's how
true.
long
There was an
rocks are
image
found.
today on Reddit of someone where it looked like they were on the moon, showing Mars in the distance on like the horizon of the moon, and the scale that they were able to zoom in and get like the whole craters of the moon. It looked like they had literally the camera on the moon looking at Mars. Just like
Samsung
they did
S22.
yeah Samsung
Moonshot.
100 times zoom.
How did they do it?
with their massive telescope where they did multiple gridded shots where they piece it all together.
Of course, yeah.
But it just looked insanely cool.
I'd love to get
so
into
yeah,
that
we'd
stuff.
be able to
It's
see it.
Looks complex.
People would be able to see these things. I mean, it doesn't need to be that big to be a threat. Like a kilometer-sized piece of rock is going to fuck things up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But unless it's coming at you very, very quickly out of the solar system, you generally know where these things are going to be coming from. They label so many of these things every year. It's the smaller ones that are like city destroyers. They'd be very hard to spot. So I think the planet killers, we see them coming. And they're always popping up. Like, it's going to come within 3 moon orbits of the Earth, but don't worry, we're not going to see it again for 10,000 years. It's just on this huge...
We'll let them worry about it.
Yeah.
All right. If we
Future us, big problem.
See, I think I would change, going back to the hypothetical then, I would change that the dinosaurs wiped themselves out through rampant use of fossil fuels.
Well, you'd hope
You
that-
create the narrative that
But then we'd
they're
be
using
living in
fossil
Venus.
fuels
Yeah.
from the
Why
previous.
do you think they're called fossil fuels? Because dinosaurs use them first.
Oh, I see.
But who were before the dinosaurs? Because dinosaurs are
Dinosaurs
fossil
actually
fuels.
had cars.
We're talking about taking stuff away. Would you add stuff?
I'd add stuff.
Would
yeah.
you add stuff in?
I'd be like, right, what actually happened to the dinosaurs
turn yourself
was
into
they had
an
a
overlord.
complex society and they loved big yachts, they loved cruises, they loved
Billionaires and oligarchs everywhere.
Yeah, the reason that flight came so late to dinosaurs is because they all had private jets.
Right.
So, like, they
lazy
were burning in the
bastards.
atmosphere.
They were like, oh, that guy's evolved some wings. Why? Like I've got a Learjet, and I think that's what wiped them out. And then you had that big heat.
I see.
you know.
So you'd
I'd really fuck with people.
You'd subvert.
I'd love to fuck with people because fuck them. Yeah, I'm God now. I've got all the information. I'll solve the problems eventually. But
you're doing it
for a
in
little
like
bit,
a evil but good way.
To-
ultimately
steering
good.
people away.
You know, it's
from-
like me. It's like my
He's gonna live in
personality.
luxury, but
I like
I
to
feel like the
berate
ultimate wiki
people,
would just
but-
say, yeah, fossil fuels are bad, and you probably shouldn't
Yeah.
do it.
Well, yeah, but fossil fuels are a stepping stone to advancement. You can't just go from no power to super clean power in one step. I'd guess.
It's all in the wiki.
you
It's all on the
certainly
wiki.
suppress
Yeah.
the
It's all
use
there.
of clean power. For the
Oh,
benefits
absolutely. I
of-
mean, that's it's a different argument altogether. But at one point we killed whales so we could light our homes.
Yeah.
Like that's the whale oil was.
Wales. I thought you meant the Welsh.
Not the Welsh. We do that too, but not to light our homes.
We keep that on the down low.
Yeah,
We
of
don't
course,
teach that in history.
Yeah.
Don't tell Dad.
So that's my answer. I would edit the history of dinosaurs to make them seem just as bad as us, and then start
That would
blaming
create so much dialogue. Dinosaurs had cars, like
Yeah.
Flintstone style, or
them. No,
This is a
like
big edit.
Hyundai.
This is a huge
Toyota.
edit.
Quite an edit, yeah.
Yeah,
What would
I
a lot
spent
of
a few
technology-
weeks on it.
Weeks. You've
Yeah.
got to change everything that they had in their society was now not invented by a person.
No.
And you're only talking about Earth history.
Yeah.
So you need to change the edit for every other
You
civilization.
heard about
out
you
there.
played Dino Crisis, the one where they're in space?
I have not.
No, there's a Dino Crisis in space.
There's a Dino Crisis where
Yeah,
the
there is.
dinosaurs are on a spaceship.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
How'd they get there if they wipe themselves
did
out
they
with
just-
fossil fuels? This is
They don't
another
even
edit.
have
Yeah.
thumbs.
Gosh.
Complicated, but I'd do it just to fuck with people because they're all dead now, so it's not like it would affect anything really.
Who's all dead?
The
people.
dinosaurs?
Oh, the dinosaurs.
I hate to break it to you.
Okay, no, they
So
are.
the
There are
dinosaurs
still,
are
there are
dead.
still crocodiles and birds.
Yeah.
so-
What about the space dinosaurs?
yeah.
that
They
made
might
it-
still be
they
out
made
there.
it
Made it
out.
out.
Yeah. They just
They're the
can't
ones that we're
communicate with
worried about
us 'cause-
coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're the ones we need to prepare for, and that would be the basis of my cult.
That was actually one of the baddies, if you like, in the Judge Dredd universe. Which is
Space.
the weirdest thing about Judge Dredd is that it was set in the year 2000 AD,
Yeah.
obviously, or I think it might have been slightly further. It might have been 3000. There'd been the nuclear war with Russia, and the world had been turned into this quagmire of pollution and all the rest of it. But there were also aliens, and occasionally they'd pop up. And it was weird because Judge Dredd is dealing with the crime on the streets.
Yeah, very
and
like-
like that guy just stole
Yeah.
that lady's bag.
He's doing
Yeah,
very
yeah.
small
and then,
time, yeah.
And then some weeks, aliens have arrived and they're invading Megacity 1. So
it's quite
he kind of
sporadic.
he was like a beat cop that was also a defender of the planet.
Yeah.
It was, I always
broad.
thought
How
it was
did he-
very funny.
Like, what's the application process for that job as well? It's like, so how do you feel about dealing with petty crime and drugs? How do you feel about...
I am the law.
I'm just going to shoot it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess...
Well, he was a clone.
Gives it a lot of scope.
He was a clone.
He was a clone, yeah. So he was
I don't
a
know
clone
very much
of
about the Judge Dredd.
original
I
Judge.
saw the
believe.
recent film and the really old one.
There's
The
a
one with Carl
sequel.
Urban, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really?
That's been announced.
Okay.
With
I really
Carl
enjoyed it.
Urban.
I really enjoyed the Carl Urban Judge Dredd. A
Yeah.
mate of mine is actually a stuntman, and you can see him in that movie.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
amazing.
Yeah, in one of the opening sequences, they throw a lad off a balcony.
Oh.
He's one of
Oh,
the guys
right, at the
throwing
beginning.
the lad
Oh,
off the
shit, no
balcony.
way.
Yeah, he is.
So he's not
claim
the
to
guy
fame?
being thrown.
He's not.
Nice.
His
No.
name is George.
Oh, okay.
Good job,
But they
George.
used the building in the centre of Bristol for filming there. So
Oh,
that's
did they
good.
really?
No, it looks.
No, it just
really-
looks like
looks
it's in the Dread.
The
really
Dread
dystopic
building.
and shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just I really
Much
wish,
of the high rise.
if anything
like-
needs covering, that does.
I think that's the
Put
one of
billboard on
main
anything.
downsides of Bristol is the skyline is not a pretty skyline.
It's not
is like
that
dog
great.
shit. It's
Yeah.
literally just recovery from the war.
There's a lot of nice things in
concrete.
Bristol, but you go up to Ashton Court and you look out over the city and you're like,
Wow, nice.
It's a hodgepodge.
Look at the Judge Dredd building.
got
That's
like
what I
that.
call it now. But yeah.
Hodgepodge.
Yeah.
And he was also in Game of Thrones. You know the scene where the Hound and Arya go to the pub, and he's like, "I think I'll have 2 chickens." You know, and then
Oh,
he kills
right,
all those
okay,
guys.
yeah.
He was one of the guys that.
Oh,
He killed.
nice.
Yeah, didn't have a line, but died well.
Oh,
back
nice.
when the
Damn,
show was
George.
good.
Good job, George. Good job, George.
Puts his body on the line.
Have you seen that? So on Netflix, there's I think it's a conspiracy theorist, but the guy about ancient civilizations and stuff, and that they just won't tell you about them.
Yes.
He had his own. They gave him
They gave him a
full-on
Netflix show, didn't they? Yeah. Ancient apocalypse.
And
or
like they're interesting
Ancient-
ideas. Like
Yeah.
sure, it's like fun to talk about these ideas. I
I
don't
do
know
like
if
the
there's any
idea of
real
it.
evidence of them, and obviously archaeologists and stuff are disputing it and quite annoyed at Netflix for front paging it. But
It is
it's quite an
frustrating.
interesting. The ideas are interesting, and like even if you're write about them, it's quite.
I like the
fun
idea of it
them
because, like you
being
say,
old.
is this
civilizations.
from Cosmos, where he's on the calendar walking around and he's
yeah.
on December 31st, and then we're just here in the last minute of the last day.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's all these other days where a whole civilization could have blossomed, killed themselves, and there's not even a trace of
Yeah.
their existence,
Yeah.
even in like sedentary rocks.
Right.
Like it's been broken down so much there's like no fossils even.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I like the idea of the thought experiment of it.
Yeah, like if imagine we built ourselves up to this point, and then obviously we just nuked ourselves, and then
There's
a
nothing
few
left.
hundred
We'd be
million
silted
years go
over.
again, and then
Yeah. We'd
time
be,
to do it
uh,
again because we lost all the evidence of before.
Yeah.
Well, we made so much of an impression on the planet that I don't think it would be impossible to not just notice all the things that we've done, even just roads and shit.
Nokia
really.
3310. There it is.
There it is. We dug one up. This one's 18,000 years old. Still turns on.
Yeah, so
Who's Galaxgalop?
I'm actually getting a call. Hello?
Hello? No, I don't want. I wasn't in a car accident.
I wasn't injured. God, I'm talking to you for fuck's sake.
But so I know that if every single person in America dropped down dead where they are, you wouldn't get enough fossils for a complete skeleton. That's 350 million people.
That's crazy.
Because fossilization is so difficult and so
Yeah.
unlikely and so rare that when
Yeah.
we do find a complete
It's just like,
skeleton,
what the fuck?
it's a big deal.
Jackpot.
Yeah.
Because think about what would have to happen. No other animal comes along and goes
Touches it.
Yeah.
into your body.
Needs to be untouched.
Your bones stay in a very particular medium and
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
preserved.
because we're designed to be biodegradable, right? Like we are,
Yeah.
So it degrades. You need sort of like what clay?
Substrate.
We go in the brown bin.
Yeah, we go in the
brown bin,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, with the amount of microplastics in all of us now, who knows?
Yeah.
But,
I'm not putting those bins
yeah.
out, that's for sure.
right. Oh, DuPont poisoned the entire world with fucking Teflon.
Like-
Have you
The
seen
green
Dark
bin in
Waters?
London. Dark Waters, is that the Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah.
I did
Where
watch
it's just-
that.
Dude,
Yeah,
where it's just like, yeah, it
dramatization.
I was
turns
like,
out.
come on, Hulk, you can solve
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You're an adventure.
Clean water.
Won't pollute 99%
Hulk's sad.
of all. Yeah.
Teflon's
Unborn
in the
baby
water.
has Teflon in it already.
Object. Repetitious.
I love how he's probably trying to be this like real philanthropist, like doing a documentary. We're like, Hulk.
Come on.
He's in character.
Do
Do you reckon that
Edward Norton's here.
people joking about Hulk being a lawyer is how the She-Hulk show got made? Because she's
She-Hulk
a lawyer. Or was she a lawyer?
don't know.
already
Yeah.
a comic,
Really?
and she already
Because I know
was a
she was a
lawyer.
comic, but I didn't know she was a lawyer in
Yeah.
the comic.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Because there are a lot
I
of
haven't watched
superheroes that are
She-Hulk.
lawyers.
So I don't know.
Matt,
Daredevil.
the Daredevil.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Thor, I believe, was a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah, so he would come in.
In Asgard? Or?
He's got
No,
a
no,
jet.
no.
He had a smaller
had an
hammer.
Earth-
Smaller
That's the hammer, yeah.
He had an Earth, or was he a physicist, chat? He had something where he would come in and his umbrella or something would turn into Mjolnir. So he would disguise himself as a regular human to walk around.
Right.
Oh.
And then he would Thor it up when he needed to.
I
He was a
see.
doctor? Was he really?
I'm gonna make
say Clark
a
Kent, but he's a
guess
journalist.
here
Go on.
and say the reason that a lot of these characters are lawyers is because that is their way of legitimizing their justice. So by saying,
Yeah, exactly, the law,
like instead of
yeah.
them making them vigilantes who largely deal out their problem solving via violence, right, as a superhero, it also gives them legitimate, like, no, I'm actually learned in the ways of, being fair
I'm a symbol of justice.
Yeah, but then also, what's sort of kind of funny about it is like, in the classic American mindset, it's like, yes, they are truthful and justice.
Yeah, right.
Let's ignore the fact that half of lawyers are probably
so corrupt.
yeah, the worst.
And you watch
people
enough of
in
these
the
documentaries,
world.
you're like, God, these lawyers are just laying this, like really working hard to get these horrible criminals
Like
off.
the Epstein
and they're
lawyers and
succeeding.
stuff like that. Yeah,
and they're
just like,
succeeding. They
oh my
just have
God.
to be really good fucking like presenters.
Yeah.
Like really,
Yeah.
oh man, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting.
Yeah.
What's our second hypothetical?
Oh, we have a second.
Yes,
Oh,
we
really?
do. Okay, out of the blue, there's a creepy looking snowman in your yard.
Yeah.
Whenever you demolish it, it's back the next morning, and every day it's placed closer to your house. Is this like, what is this like?
The
Slenderman?
angels from
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Doctor
yeah, yeah.
Who.
But very
It's-
slow.
Well, I
It's a
stopped
daily
destroying it. I
occurrence.
guess if it kept, well, how close is it going? Are we talking inching? I haven't got a garden.
If it was in our back garden, it wouldn't
Picturing
take
garden.
long to get into the house.
Yeah. Because at the door. Fuck, just to close the door and ignore it. Close the curtains.
I mean, once it gets in, presumably it's going to melt.
Yeah.
Because you got central heating or
you've
whatever.
been whacking that thing
So
up.
there'd just be a puddle of water, which would be annoying. And I guess you'd mop it up, it would be
see you
bad.
tomorrow, I
Keep
guess,
moving.
mate.
Yeah.
Would you hire a scientist or somebody who's into like occult stuff to deal with it? Do you think?
It'll be big.
Scientists
It'll be big on
immediately.
TikTok first.
Yeah.
It'll be on, you'll see it on TikTok
Look at
first.
this! Look
yeah.
at this crazy
Yeah.
snowman.
It whenever demolished, it regrows, and it's just like, well, that looks obviously just like a joke or a prank.
And then with a
a bunch of students were playing. Hey, look, we built this fucker
So
again.
this is the up and downs of hypothetical situations. That
we
go
debunked them quite
we
quickly.
go from
This
one-
is that. I mean, that's a bad one. Like I like the other
it's a
one.
weird
That's
one.
not a good one. I don't know what to say. What's the hypothetical? Am I scared?
It's basically
Yes.
just like, yeah, what do you do? I mean,
Would
What
you,
could you do?
I go
Dress it
internet
up?
famous from
Get internet famous
regrowing.
at least. My family, after the snowman's presumably killed me, will at least benefit financially from it.
Will it just keep going through the house and past the house?
You could trap it and use its somehow seeming ability to form itself into frozen snow each day as a source of infinite energy.
You would think so, but it only once a day and only one snowman's worth of ice.
It's probably not worth the
So
effort.
it's a very slow generator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could just wait for the summer months.
And then you're laughing.
But it sounds like it's like It Follows. Have you seen It Follows?
yeah, I
guess
have.
you-
I actually quite like that.
That's really good. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
as in just it follows you wherever you go.
Yeah.
It goes from person to person, and
I
it's
would
like,
try to be nice to it. Bring it things.
give it a
Sing to
little scarf?
give it a
Yeah,
scarf.
give it a little scarf.
Yeah.
Maybe it just wants a home. I mean, the snowman in the snowman
If it looks demonic,
was
though.
quite creepy.
No, yeah.
Maybe start up a snow cone business where
If
like
it's-
every
yeah.
morning you just take scoops of its head, put some syrup on it, and just like sell it. Like, hey, he's back. Who wants more of the living embodied weird snowman?
It's like a good
Yeah.
Mr. Frosty. Remember
Yeah.
that
Selling
little
pieces of
churning
snowman.
thing?
yeah, Mr. Frosty's lots of fun. He regenerates himself every day.
Is that the catchy tune?
That's the
Yeah,
catchy
yeah.
Very
tune,
good.
yeah.
Working
If you
on
could
it.
film it regenerating, that would be the fucking creepy part.
Yeah.
Because if you saw it literally just building itself,
What if it's like
that's the part where
Schrodinger's
you're like, what the hell
snowman?
is happening here?
You have to not observe it for it to reform.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
it
So
probably
you
would
put
be, wouldn't it?
cameras everywhere
Yeah.
to stop it reforming.
Yeah, it's like a
that
vision trap.
invisible character in
Yeah.
that. Oh man, there was a superhero film, like a comedy one, where I'm only invisible if you look away.
Oh
I
yeah.
think the Kel from Keenan and Kel played that.
Yeah, what
character.
was that?
I can't
show?
remember now.
That film?
Mystery Man.
Mystery Man.
Yeah, it
yes,
was
it was Mystery
Mystery
Man.
Man. Yeah,
He goes, I can only go invisible when you all look away.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like, well, that's obviously like really dumb, but
Really
like I
can't
love
be-
the idea
yeah.
that they went with it. But yeah, maybe it's like that. So we all have to look away from the snowman before it grows. But there's going to be a camera pointing at it somewhere. Come on, we're in a CCTV state, aren't we?
Yeah, satellite imaging.
We'll catch it somewhere, and it's fucking hell, it's rebuilding over there. Or in a
Google
dash cam.
Maps.
Or in
I
a
don't-
dash cam somewhere.
There's not enough information
No.
to go on.
Not enough to go on, but I think we dug deep on that
We
one.
did.
We did our best.
enough.
We did.
And frankly, we spent so much time on the first one. This has been a plentiful podcast
Yeah.
as is.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm happy.
Yeah,
Is there any funny news?
no, I've got
Nothing
anything
funny.
time. We do have.
Just in
No,
case it
it
gets
was
too
some old
existential.
yeah.
Not in this decade.
We kind of bring it back with
Thing
some
is, like the funny news has
Like,
really been
the
like
Gimp of
just
Telford.
dreary stuff. The Gimp was a highlight. To be
You see
fair.
it here about this gimp that's been haunting Somerset?
Yeah,
He got arrested the other day.
Yeah.
He keeps on doing weird shit like rubbing himself in like
Yeah.
leaves in parks.
crawling around like a dog.
A guy just dresses
approaching
up as a
people.
gimp and tries to freak people out. Which you can imagine if you're out like at night is pretty weird.
Is
right?
it for
That's
the content?
horrifying.
Like, is he a streamer?
No,
I don't think they're filming
get
it.
stuff.
No, I think he's out there to get a rise out of people walking
Yeah.
home from
I
pubs and
see.
stuff.
Well, yeah,
Oh, I
because the
see.
story ended up. These guys were just like, "You're right, mate. Do you want a cigarette?" And it was just, they were just,
Just a regular guy.
yeah, they were just laughing at this guy. And she's like, "Oh, do you want to just?"
I think
Get
he's,
up, mate,
he's
don't
trying
worry.
to freak people out, but
Yeah.
then Yeah.
Now he's just a novelty.
Just a run-of-the-mill gimp.
Yeah.
Mummy, can we see the gimp today? No, we saw the gimp yesterday. It's a regular thing.
Just leave him
Go
alone.
sit on his knee.
Mummy, look, it's the gimps. Get away from him. He's a pervert.
Well, it's been an honour,
Rights for gimps.
Pyrion. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
coming
It's a
along.
great idea for a podcast. I really like it. The hypotheticals. Is it normally just you three lads?
Yes.
We've been trying to get more guests on
Yeah.
just because it's a bit more interesting. You know, like 150 of
Different
these does, you know,
120.
it's 120. It does tend to, it helps to get a bit of blood in.
Get some
Bit-
blood.
yeah.
Yeah, different ideas, different
Bit
way of
new blood.
thinking.
Yeah.
Fresh blood.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you want to just go into that room over there, we'll lock the bollock off.
Okay, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
one
yeah,
bollock.
great,
We've all
great.
done
That'll be
it.
after.
We've all done it.
We've all done it. Yeah.
He's not a
Kept him
doctor, he's a tradesman, but I know him well.
Oh, he's good at cutting. Does tiling.
He does. You want
Okay.
tiles
The
done on your-
difficulty is, like, we've done it before the podcast and you're in pain the whole time.
Yeah.
But then we also have the problem of, like, people are worried about it afterwards, so they're not good in the
Yeah.
podcast
Right,
episode.
yeah.
So
I
it's
think
never a
just
good time for it.
Springing it on me at the end there.
Spring
We
it
had,
on and
we
put it
had
on.
traditional
Yeah.
ones. We had a farmer like buy it off with
Yeah.
his. He said the
You
saliva.
seen when they
would
do that to
help.
goats?
Huh?
You seen they do that to goats? They bite the bollock off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're kind of chewing it, and they rip back.
Oh,
it's like
fucking
fucking hell.
goats.
This is horrible. Oh,
That poor goat.
it's brutal.
That lucky farmer, though.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that son of a bitch. Like Haribo cherries.
what a guy. What's your
Oh
expertise
my
then?
God.
Well, I like to buy. I'm really good at biting off goat testicles.
Got the sharpest front fucking teeth.
Yeah, I can really get them off
Filed
quick.
them down.
Oh, sorry, I swallowed that.
Barely
one
any
again.
pain. Barely any pain. Only little bleeding.
Christ.
What size of the herd are we doing today then? 150 head of goat?
Right.
Oh,
Let me get me gnashers ready.
Sharpens them.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you to our patrons for voting for that really good first hypothetical. I
Indeed,
thought
yeah.
that was good, the Ultimate
Yeah,
Wiki.
yeah.
And again, if you want to go on Patreon and support us, that's the way to do it.
Indeed.
If you want to send a finger in, like Roy did, thank you, Roy. I don't know if I
Roy.
said the name.
Well, big up Roy. Thank you.
They
Roy.
emailed saying, "Oh, you dug up one of my fingers from 2019.
Oh
You used it
yeah, I saw
recently."
that email. Yeah.
So here's another one that you missed, and so
Cheers,
we used
Roy.
it. Thank you very much,
It's a
Roy.
good one.
Send it to that email that you saw on screen there, hatchat@films.com. Thank you again, Pyrion. You can check out Triforce.
Of course.
It's like
Yeah.
higher in the rankings than Hatchat,
I
so
think
just
so,
look
yeah.
up.
Just look up.
Just look up.
Or my stream. When I
Oh,
stream,
yes, of course.
Which is most days. Come and stop on.
Where would that be?
Yes.
Well, twitch.tv/PyronFlax, obviously.
Slash
it's-
Pyrion Flax. Make sure.
PYRIONFLAX.
Yes.
Why did you call yourself that?
Just made it up.
Nice.
Just made it up. Needed a character name in Eve. Wanted something that sounded kind of spacey.
Eve.
And cool.
Wow, we could talk about that.
Played that for like 5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we used to play Eve years ago.
Miserable game. Don't do it.
Yeah, I did so much mining of asteroids. Anyway, that's a
Yeah.
That's a different podcast.
a whole different
Yeah,
ballgame.
right.
And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Thank you for
Indeed.
listening and watching.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.